This is so fun. I get to meet Steve Urquhart. He is a veteran senator of Utah who is a real rabble rouser when it comes to standing up to the LDS Church, and 16 years in the legislature. Now you are leading the Divine Assembly with a huge community now here in Utah. Happy 5-year anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know the exact date. I think it was yesterday, so we're very timely.
That's exciting. Kind of goes along with Pride too, and you've done a lot of work fighting for LGBTQ rights. Mm-hmm. It's an exciting time for you.
Yeah, very. Yeah, so TDA, it's a mystic religion that we all seek our own path, our own relationship with the divine, free of doctrine, free of dogma. No one assigns you a God. No one assigns you rites and rituals. You get to figure that out. And we're still very much learning who we are, what we want to be. You look, I mean, that's how it goes with religions, is it just takes a while. You have a community, you have conversations, and we're still figuring it out, but we're having a lot of fun.
Well, congratulations. I know a lot of people personally who have experienced a lot of safety being a card carrying member, and they feel safe and protected to do their personal practice. So it's pretty cool what you've started here in Utah. Lots of healing.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was really kind of one of the main impetuses at first. Is I kept having these experiences with psychedelics, and so I'm like, okay, this is a very powerful sacrament. I've spent my life in organized religion. I'm like, this is more spiritual than anything I ever.
Did you ever meet God as a Mormon?
No, I never did.
Maybe talk to him on the phone, but
no, I never did. Occasionally I felt maybe that's a burning in the bosom. I don't. I don't mean to disparage it, but no, I had no personal relationship because, here is your God, and I don't think that God really ever liked me. I think that God really disliked me. The things that made me happy, made me excited. They were bad. They were bad. So, I love that now I just get to really worship, right? Without preconceived notions. It's like, it's a mystic's path. It's like, all right, I start thinking about something, been doing some reading on something. So I just kind of go inward or take a walk, and what does it hit me? And it's amazing. I mean, I have sat with God a number of times. I've sat with Jesus, and people say that's bullshit. Well, it might be. I don't know, but it felt real to me. It was in my mind, and I sure did learn a lot. And so, it is kind of interesting. What is the border between what is real and what is fiction? I mean, the religion I spent my life in, it's legit, right? It gets a lot of props, and now as I look back, I'm thinking there's a lot of fiction in that. But it's respected, right? Whereas, I actually have these firsthand experiences where, I'm sitting with the divine, let's call it that, and just learning firsthand things that absolutely have changed my life, made me a better person. I mean, I feel peace like I didn't know this kind of peace could exist. So I walk the earth a much better person, a much more content person. So if it's bullshit, it's pretty good bullshit.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting too, because it's almost like the Divine Assembly is permission to explore that connection yourself. And once you have that connection, it's a game changer that has tangible results in your life, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what our one tenet is, by saying you can commune with the divine and receive guidance. Then all that is saying is, in case you had any doubts, you have permission to worship. You don't need anyone to tell you how to do it, including me, including the Divine Assembly. Each individual, just as mystics have always done, they can figure out where the divine is and how they connect to the divine. And the amazing thing is, a lot of mystics have connected with the divine, and it's all in different ways, and the divine presents in different ways. So that suggests to me that maybe the divine is something different to me than it is to you. And maybe we all connect with the divine in different ways, different, unique, beautiful ways.
Well, and it's cool to get a real mystic's perspective on that, because I know you've explored consciousness at length, and you are particularly credible in speaking on religion because you served an LDS mission. You've served in the government. It's pretty cool that now you're in the religion field, but mainly in the direct connection to your higher consciousness, to feelings of universal love.
Yeah, I'll tell you kind of a cool part of this is, so my wife and I, we had Amsterdam a year apart in sorry, I don't know if that made any sense. My wife and I, we experienced ayahuasca in Amsterdam 2 years apart, and it was awesome. It was great, right? We had this guide; she was wonderful. But then I had this ayahuasca guide here in Sandy, in the basement in Sandy, who was so abusive. Really? And then my very first mushroom trip was with a guide who was so controlling and abusive, and I'm really grateful for that, because a lot of our people come out of what we call religious trauma, right? Where, if I don't need to get into it, anyone who lives in Utah, you know what I'm talking about.
And there aren't any real options to.
Yeah, and so I'm glad I experienced that in the psychedelic space, because it helped me recognize, oh, this is all the same stuff. This is just someone using authority and supposed knowledge, pedigree, to just control and make themselves big. And so that really helped with divine assembly, that we can't have hierarchy, we can't have these Abrahamic structures, or we're just recreating all the same dangers, all the same spiritual prisons, just in different format. So again, in a mushroom ceremony, I saw the structure of TDA, which is like the mycelium, where no taproot, no central, no org tree, just where you have all these individual nodes. You're a node, I'm a node. Maybe we connect for a while, then we can disconnect, and we're still whole, and we can connect over here, and we have all these different peer-to-peer connections. And so that really is, it's really empowering for individuals. When we don't need to spiritually answer to anyone, but we can seek out different people we connect with in different ways.
Well, and now the Divine Assembly makes so much more sense, because you are encouraging that wholeness and community, but through your direct connection. Do your thing.
A cool part of the name comes out of the Bible, the book of Psalms, the Divine Assembly. So the Bible, of course, kicked off the three major monotheistic Abrahamic religions: Judaism, Christianity, Islam, all monotheistic. And I mean, it's a problem if you have more than one God in those religions. Yet in the Bible, in the book of Psalms, God is meeting with the divine assembly of gods. How does that happen? And just reaming them out, saying, you're not taking care of the vulnerable people. Step up and do better. So that really resonated with me. Who was God talking to, right? God was talking to the divine assembly of gods. We don't know, but the way I like to think of that is, that's us. These are the people who walk the earth. We're the divine assembly of gods. And if anyone's going to take care of the vulnerable people, it's going to be us. No, I don't think an angel's going to come down from heaven and do it. I think it's you. I think it's me. I think it's all of us. We're the divine assembly of gods. And if anyone's going to take care of the vulnerable people, it's going to be us.
Well, and that is true to your career. Thank you for all the work you've done in giving the voiceless a voice and fighting for rights and bringing people together.
Thank you. We're just starting. Let's see where it goes.
Yay! Happy 5 years. It's so good to meet you in person.
Yeah,
you are phenomenal.
Yeah, this is too long in the making. So good to meet you.
Okay, let's go enjoy this beautiful sunset at the International Peace Gardens.
Perfect.